Well, it's been a long time since I've taken a look at a Hearts of Iron 4 mod that I decided to make a video on, and this is it, guys. Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe. Now imagine a world where Germany wins World War II, and a massive power struggle occurs after Hitler's death. On top of that, a bunch of different world nations are going to have completely changed histories, and here we have a perfect example of that. So the Free States, the United States, actually are under Richard Nixon, and this entire mod takes place in the 1960s. So you got this sort of 60s vibe with helicopters, etc. The only actual allied nations that still exist are the Union of South Africa and Brazil. Now, over here in the German sphere, things have gone absolutely crazy. At this point, Adolf Hitler has survived the war. He's an old man, and you can go down any number of different faction trees, namely putting Germans on the moon first. But as well as Hitler, you've got all of these smaller principalities, I guess we could call them, like the Oderstraat Himmler. And this, of course, is the state of Burgundy, which Hitler gives to Himmler because much of northern France has remained under direct occupation, and Himmler has taken over most of this area and doesn't really want to relinquish it so easily. Then in the center, guys, just a massive conglomeration of Russian warlords coming from all sorts of different backgrounds. Some of them are fascists, some of them are communists, some of them are anarcho-syndicalists, like the Black Armies here, the Siberian Black Armies, and even some more, like Chita, are old monarchists trying to bring back the monarchy, even if the only way to bring back the monarchy is to get some old guy named Mikhail drunk and convince him that he's actually the Tsar. Of course, the Japanese have their very own influence, and at this point, they've moved past the imperial system and gone full-on fascism. They still, of course, do have their monarchy, but it's nothing but a puppet state. Underneath them, the Republic of China is actually the slave of the samurai, and there's all sorts of different trees within this to really, take China one way or another, and really take any of these countries in a number of different directions. We're going to jump in and take a look at that, don't you worry. And of course, we've got my favorite country, the Iberian Union, under Francisco Franco. I do wish we had a new leader, but I think that's pretty interesting, merging Spain and Portugal together, under Italian rule. Yeah, this is an absolute nightmare, as you can imagine. Also, I think it's funny because it's Galeazzo Ciano, also the guy that Benito Mussolini had killed, that is the current leader of Italy. So again, there's going to be a lot of history in this mod that you're going to learn just by playing it. In this case, we're going to jump in with one of the factions and just kind of take a look at what this mod looks like, close up. Now, when I say that there are options here, I am not kidding. And just to show you how intricate and in-depth some of these political schemes can be. Right here, Hitler has died, and we see that Albert Speer, has his own German faction. Over here, Bormann has got his own German faction. So does Hermann Göring, and even, of course, the notorious Heinrich Himmler. Over here, Heydrich even has a small piece or small sliver of land for himself. Now, he is, of course, an awful man that was killed, but in this particular modification, he's never assassinated. And thus, Hitler gives him control of this region. Now, ostensibly, Hitler actually bequeathed all power unto Hermann Göring, but the whole reason that they're fighting a civil war is because they can't agree on exactly who controls this area. But now let's take a look at just the game mechanics, game mechanics itself, research, decisions, etc., and kind of see how they're different from a typical vanilla Hearts of Iron 4 experience. Not all countries under the Reich are absolutely evil. Well, I mean, of course, by nature they kind of are, but you can see here that England, for instance, still does have an authoritarian, or a democracy of any case. It is an authoritarian democracy, but the moderates are mostly in control, and of course they still have Alec Douglas Hume, who actually served in the Territorial Army, served against the Germans during the war. Now, the national focus for the English is quite fascinating. You can go all the way down. At some point, you do the King's Speech, and quite possibly, you start to liberate the country. But really, that's just a tiny political thing that could occur in-game. So, for instance, I have a game. Let's go and take a look at that. And in my game, I'm actually playing as the Republic of Chita. No, don't laugh. Again, I was talking about Mikhail II, and the story I gave you is true. He is the reluctant Tsar, and I could probably make an entirely different video just on the history of this one nation. In any case, we took over this eastern part, which was run by a fascist, and you can see all of the different warlords in Russia. I mean, you can play as any number of different Russian states, but most of them are going to be quite authoritarian and quite ruthless. And something we did was we actually captured their leader over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to topple the pedestal, and we're going to kill Rodzaevsky. This is the leader that brought fascism to Russia, and just in this game alone, we can go ahead and see his death come to pass. A true feeling of vengeance that you get while playing this mod, and we've got a lot of other countries to take over as well. The door is open for us. In fact, we could even get support of the Dainippon Teikoku, the Japanese home armies here, to support us in an invasion of these other territories, because now we're facing Soviets, and not just any Soviet, guys. We're actually facing Genrik Yagoda. For those of you that don't remember, he was the first killer under Stalin, the first head of Soviet security, and certainly a ruthless, ruthless operator without a shadow of a doubt. If we jump into the decisions mode, this is another thing that really separates this mod from all others. There are all sorts of things that we can do for each individual country. I want to be very clear here. The fact that we're playing as Chita in an area that's, well, pretty much devoid of any resources besides quite a large stockpile of oil and diamonds, I'll admit, but no real basic resources. We can actually scavenge for loot amongst the old factories and amongst the borders of our city, borders of our country, I should say. But if we play as another country, we might have a completely different raiding and loot system, or not a raiding and loot system at all, and certainly not a warlord development system. What I mean to say is that each country has its intricate political system that you yourself can, of course, change just by playing and just by maneuvering your political points and making your decisions a certain way. Of course, research does come into play, and certainly your national focus tree does. But for instance, if you decide to play as the United States of America, you actually have to win national elections. As you can see here, we've got Richard Nixon. You're going to have to win national elections. In each individual state, you have to get a majority. And I just think it's so deep when it comes to this kind of stuff that just about anybody that likes Hearts of Iron 4 or just likes history is going to want to jump in here. Now, if you guys like this and you want to see some more, I would absolutely love to play it, but I think I'd like to try something different. And really, my focus would probably be just the history of these individual countries. But I want to show you guys the research tree here as well. And this is one thing that I think could put a few people off. Again, this is a sort of 1960s look and feel. So we've got this like extremely old computer simulator version of the different doctrines. Now, you do get used to it. I know right now, either you're thinking, it's one of those things you either love it or hate it. You're either thinking this is absolutely awesome or I hate this. And as you can see, we've got all sorts of new models, modern models for jet tactical bombers and aircraft going and stretching all the way into the 2000s. I mean, this game really covers everything, and when I say that this has a rich history, I'm an absolute fanboy for Kaiserreich, and I don't think I'm ever going to be playing Kaiserreich again. It's just too good, what can I say? In any case, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to make this channel a little more accessible, and, you know, videos like this are kind of what I used to enjoy doing. Just kind of saying what I feel and showing you guys what I think looks pretty cool. So if you appreciate it, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. And again, if you want to see any of these countries, and there are a ton of them, as you can see, if you want to see me play as any of them, then let me know and we will make it happen. We didn't even look at South America or Africa, and they have their own issues and focuses etc. It's just absolutely so deep. We also didn't look at Asia really, but you get a pretty good idea of what's going on. We've got pretty straightforward capture by Japan, and the Chinese Civil War continues. In fact, I think somewhere here Mao Zedong is. Maybe for the next stream we can do Where's Mao Zedong? And whoever finds him first gets a free copy of the game. I don't know. Hope you like this, guys. Catch you on the next one.